G'day and welcome to another episode of Broken Horsepower. I'm Fraz.
Lawso.
We've finally managed to get a day where we can actually work on the NX. We've got a bit of free time, so we're going to get a few things done that are really overdue.
We're going to do brake pads and brake fluid because I took the car to a track for my birthday. I'll explain more about that later. It wasn't the smartest idea. I've got to do an oil change on it because, again, took it to a track. What else I do? We've got spark plugs to do on it, and we've also got an air filter to do on it as well. And I'm going to finally put that stereo in the car because I've been driving without a stereo for so long. So, how about we get to it, mate?
Sounds good.
Sweet. Before we started work on the car, one of the headlights was burned out. So we thought we'd get an easy, simple task done first. So we popped the bonnet to get at the headlight, and this happened.
Ooh,
that sounds good.
I think I know why your low beam doesn't work.
Oh yeah?
Ooh, it's burned out.
So the plug's melted.
Oh wait. let's hold on. What was that, Fraz?
So the plug's melted.
First thing first, and we've already encountered a bloody problem. Fantastic.
Alright, so first problem of the day. We've gone to change the headlight because we thought the headlight was broken. But it's actually the fitting on the end of the headlight. As you can see, it's in many pieces. There's a wire that's obviously shorted out on something, and it's melted the connector for the back of the globe. We've already pulled the globe out. The globe's okay, so we're not going to bother replacing that. But we're going to have to do a bit of auto electrical work on this to get it back up to scratch so that we don't set fire to anything. Alright, next up, air filter. It's a nice and easy, quick fix, just a little bit better economy, helps the engine breathe better. So, most cars, there'll be a few clips on this box. Pick that up, take the old filter out, which this actually looks like it's got a decent panel filter in it, but we don't know how long it's been in there. So we'll replace it with a OEM style, another panel filter.
What does OEM mean, mate?
Original Equipment Manufacturer.
So basically it means something you buy from Nissan.
Yeah, and so once you got that back in there, make sure it's seated properly, and then clip everything back up, and done.
Next on the list of basic maintenance is to change the spark plugs.
Alright, spark plugs. We're not sure of the condition or the age. Easiest way is just pop the lead straight off. It'll either be one of two sizes, a 13/16 or a 5/8. So just work out which one it is. Once it's in there, pop it on, press down and loosen it off. Remember, lefty loosey. If you try and tighten it, you will do damage.
Repeat this process for all the spark plugs. I cheated a little bit here and used an electric impact wrench to help speed up the process, but the method is the same for all cylinders.
As you can see, these spark plugs aren't in too bad a condition. There is a little bit of white buildup and residue just on the tips and everything, which would normally indicate they've been getting pretty hot, which from Lawso's track day and everything he's told me, doesn't sound too abnormal. So these are actually in decent nick.
With your new replacement spark plugs, ensure they're correctly gapped to the manufacturer specifications. Push them back into the cylinder, start the threads by hand, and tighten with a ratchet. Check the packaging as to how tight the spark plugs need to be, as this can be anywhere between 1/8 of a turn to 2/3 of a turn after they are initially firm.
Once all the plugs are in, make sure that the leads go back on, are firm when they go back on, and that they go back on in the right order. These aren't too bad because they're all different lengths and they can only go one way, but on some vehicles it is very easy to get them mixed up. If you get them mixed up, you'll have all sorts of issues with it running and timing and all that sort of stuff. I need to pull them back out because my OCD is annoying me.
After I sorted out the spark plug leads, we raised the car in the air. First, make sure the handbrake is applied, and as a precaution, put a chock or stopper behind the rear wheels. We used this perfectly shaped log as it was all we had around. Here we are using a trolley jack on the crossmember as it's a safe jacking point. When the car is up, you'll need some rated safety stands to hold the car, as working on a car while on any jack could end poorly. We placed them on this lip just behind the front wheel because it's the factory jacking point on the car. We were going to do an oil change first, but we changed our minds to the engine mount when this happened.
Man, you gotta see that. It's stalled.
Because the engine's moving so much.
Wow. That's bad.
Oh yeah.
That's really bad.
Yeah, so that's definitely something we're doing today.
Yes.
Alright, so first off, 14mm bolt that holds the engine mount onto the actual engine. For a minute I thought there was a dead pigeon in your exhaust. Then I realised it's just fiberglass wrap that's been melted. I'm thinking we're gonna need the jack under here, just to like support the motor.
Alright.
Okay, go up. And up. And up. Okay, a little more. Whoa, stop there. Slide that bolt out. Okay, you take your fantastic rattle gun and you undo that bolt. These are 14mm, by the way. And you undo this bolt and prepare for it to like drop or shift. And then there's two more bolts at the front of this crossmember, also 14s. Hold on to the crossmember as you undo the last bolt. Oh shit. There is also a splash shield bolt that is a 10mm. Make sure you undo that before the crossmember comes out. Voila, one mildly torn engine mount.
The old mount on the bottom here has a big tear through the middle of it, which was allowing all that engine movement. The new one on top is a different size, but it's off a Nissan Pulsar, and we were guaranteed it would fit because it comes off the same motor. So I got to this part of editing a while ago, and I was letting our cameraman for the day borrow the car as he lives in Canberra. I'm going to informally introduce him, allow himself to make an idiot of himself, and then let him explain why there's only half an episode.
This is our cameraman for the day. He made a mistake. He made a big mistake. Oh. Look at that wife beater tan. Oh, you're an idiot, mate.
So Benny, this is what happens when you drive through a puddle.
He drove it through a puddle, water got into the motor, and now it's very broken. So Lawso has bought another car with even more problems, and we'll be getting stuck into that one instead.
So for now, from the Broken Horsepower crew, and this idiot who we call a mate, we must bid you all goodbye until next time, but we will be back. We will be back very soon.